Gone too far with your plastic surgery? Let's talk about it. So I recently came up on this video on YouTube that's called I Did Everything to Fix Myself, but It Wasn't Enough. I wanted to check it out, but wanted y'all here with me for the moral support. So let's have a watch and react.
If you've ever scrolled on your phone or looked in a mirror and felt like you wasn't good enough and you need to change things about yourself, girl, this is the video for you. You are not alone. I've had about 6 surgeries when I was at the age of 24. I went through a stage of maybe having body dysmorphia and feeling like I needed to change myself in order to feel worthy.
Ooh, a word in only like 30 seconds. This is a British woman of Asian descent, it seems. She's beautiful, but I am really curious. She said a mouthful, right? 6 surgeries, age 24. She felt like she had to fix herself and so got the surgeries to do just that.
I've decided we're going to start a new makeup series called Makeup and Mindset, where we're going to be doing our makeup together, but we're going to talk about some deep shit. Every month I'm going to release a new episode where we talk about love, finance.
First of all, Coast RX has great stuff. I think I mentioned them in my plastic surgery arsenals, in my favorite products. So I would definitely check out Coast RX. It is a South Korean brand, so good on you for using that.
Relationships, deep chats that you have with your sister. Today I really want to talk about surgeries, filler, all of the things I've had done over the years. I've always been extremely honest. I've shown it all on the internet, and I feel like now that I'm 32,
she was beautiful before, at least that video where she's like walking away in 2017, she was beautiful then.
I'm at a stage in my life where I just see things so differently. I really want to try to be as open and vulnerable in this series, so please be kind in the comments. But I want to start off with Twee from the start. Okay, Twee as a teenager, I was that girl that never...
Oh, I don't mean to sound corny, but I already want to cry. I like felt a little tear. Did you get the same thing when I saw her video? I mean, sorry, not her video, her photo at 17, because she was gorgeous then. And for her not to see it, that's really sad to me. And I know that I'm in a field where we make money off of people's insecurities. Let's not negate that. But I wish someone had told her and she internalized at 17, or when that picture was taken, that she was beautiful no matter what. I think that would have saved, that.
It actually feels really sad to say. I always felt like I was never good enough. I think growing up as a middle child, I just didn't get a lot of validation or a lot of attention from my family. I grew up in an immigrant household. The struggle was real. We didn't have any money. I always felt like in school, I just never felt cute. I was never that smart kid. I always just felt like a little bit of an outsider. I don't know what it was, but growing up, I just always wanted boys to notice me. Looking back now, that's probably like daddy issues, but I've always been that girl that just wanted to change the way that she looked. I used to dye my hair red, I used to dye my hair blonde, I used to wear on so much makeup. I'm sure you guys know I've been with my boyfriend.
So I can relate to some extent. For those of you who've been watching me, I've shared my story a little bit. I too grew up with immigrant parents, immigrant mom mostly, because she raised me in a single parent household. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel ugly, but I didn't feel beautiful. People validated that I was smart, so I knew I was smart, and maybe that's part of the difference between her and me, is I felt like I had something, right? Even though I wasn't an insider. We were broke. I wore clothes from Walmart that were not cute. Back then, Walmart clothes were not cute. They may be cute now, but baby, back in the 90s, they were not cute. I remember going to school with ill-fitting jeans. I had long legs, so they were always high waters. And then, like, for some reason, the tomboy chic thing was super in. I think I blame Aaliyah. And maybe R. Kelly too. But seriously, so I had like big, baggy, what's it called? Lumberjack shirts. Like, it was a mess. So I felt like an outsider. I didn't feel like I fit in, and we were broke. And she definitely was a Nigerian mom. So I can relate to a lot of this. But the question I've always raised is, a lot of you have similar stories about not feeling like you were part of the pack or not feeling accepted or not feeling beautiful. But that didn't mean that every one of us who had that similar experience decided that plastic surgery was the answer. So there's still for me that missing question of like what was it that made her go, I'm gonna get plastic surgery, and make me go, I don't want it. And furthermore, I'd rather be a plastic surgeon than than have any surgery done.
I was 16, but even before that, I had, I think, 4 boyfriends. You know, I think even now when I look back, I'm like, girl, you just need to just be by yourself. Why did you always feel like you need...
In that moment, I heard my mom shout, I shall want four boyfriends at 16. Yes, my mom would have been mortified if I had said that. I'm not going to say how many boyfriends I had. Because I was just dating because people liked me, and I didn't know that you didn't have to date someone who liked you. Ooh. Earth-shattering, but I just dated boys because they said, hey, Sonia, hey, Chinwe, we like you. And I was like, oh, you like me? Okay. Anyway, aside.
Please to feel any sort of validation. Hey ho, I was a hoe. This is not my first experience getting anything done to my face, like injectable wise. Oh my god, by the way, these Too Faced bronzing sticks, oh, she's pigmented. Okay, I'm gonna have to blend her over time. So I think I was about 22 or 23 years old, and I was working at MAC Cosmetics at the time, and I actually went to my friend Danny and I asked him about lip filler after seeing Kylie Jenner finally admit that she actually had lip filler done. I don't know if you guys remember at the time, but it was like a big deal that she finally admitted that she actually got something done to her face. And I definitely feel like after hearing that, it kind of made me a little bit more curious about filler. I've always looked at the surgery world and I watched like Nip and Tuck, and I used to find it so interesting, but I never thought that I would actually pluck up the courage and do anything to my face. Like typical Twee, whenever I get my mindset on something, I do tons of research. I go all in. At the time I was working as a makeup artist, a lot of people were getting stuff done to their face, so I would go around and ask, what is your opinion about it? What's the pros and cons? And I basically scoured the internet and I watched so many different videos. You guys know my older sister.
This has nothing to do with her story because I think it's fascinating, but the makeup, I could never, it's a struggle here. It's a struggle here. I can't do anything besides a little bit of eyeshadow, a little bit of eyeliner, some mascara, and some lipstick. The dedication to being like contoured in this way, I can't. So God bless her for that. Just an aside, has nothing to do with her story because that is fascinating for sure.
I've always been a type, just go out and do things. And my sister had nose filler at the time. She went in to go and do like more drastic stuff. And after seeing my sister's transformation, I was like, okay, maybe I'll try a little in my lips, you know, a little 0.5. I hate to say it, looking back, that was the start of it all. I spent £150 for 0.5 mils on my top lip. And I looked at myself in the mirror half an hour later and I was like, my confidence literally went from like a 6 to like an 8. I remember after that appointment, I went to apply on my lip products and I was like, oh my god, I don't have to overline my lips. I've always been that type of person that had to depend on makeup to feel pretty. At the time, I had really bad skin. It was like my biggest insecurity, and I definitely used makeup as like a form of like, you know, making myself feel good, cover up my insecurities. I'm sure like a lot of us do. But after getting that lip filler, I felt like I didn't need to like overline my lips.
See, and I had like, okay, not to say that I had everything opposite her, but for me, it was like, I'm not necessarily beautiful, or I don't think that I'm beautiful, but I'm not ugly, and makeup just sounds like a lot of work. And so every once in a while, so my mom said to me, hey, you can't wear makeup until you're, I think it was 16. I learned this when I was 14, so all the time I was thinking I could do whatever I wanted. I was wrong. So when 16 came and went and I didn't try to buy any makeup, didn't, you know, it was like, it's whatever. Like, this is my face. She wore makeup, but it wasn't this big deal in her life, so it wasn't going to be a big deal in my life. I think I finally got to college and went to like Sephora for the first time and bought something like I can't even tell you, brand. And it might have been some lipstick. That sounds about right. But yeah, I did it and I was like, oh, this is cool. And that was enough for years. It wasn't until I got a little bit older, I would say actually mid-30s, that I was like, okay, maybe I should venture out and try a little concealer, try to really get a winged eyeliner going. Let me watch a YouTube video or two to see. But even watching one now makes me feel exhausted. Does anyone else feel it? Am I the only one? I might be the only one because I think girls today are really on their makeup game. It's astonishing to me how good people can be at makeup. But anyway, aside.
That was the start of it all, okay? And then when I was 24 years old, the surgeries happened. I went under the knife. I hate to say it, but my sister is a very big influence on my life. And my sister actually flew out to Malaysia and she got her nose done. And I do have to say that her results were... After seeing my sister's results, I was like, oh, girl. If I had any insecurity, it was my nose, okay? My nose and my lips. Side tangent, I do feel like if you are ever thinking to get any kind of surgery done, I always think it's best to go to a country where the surgeon is used to your ethnicity, your bone structure. I knew that for me personally, as an Asian, I wouldn't go get my nose done.
So I think that's a little bit dangerous misinformation, right? Because then it purports this idea or it kind of doubles down on this idea of medical tourism, flying to another country to get something done. I was going to say if I were a black person, but I clearly am black. So if I were to think that way, then I would fly to Nigeria or Kenya or South Africa to have work done because they see people like me a lot, and so then would know how to appreciate my ethnic nose or my ethnic face, and so not greatly distort the picture that God created, right? Let's be fair. But again, if you are flying from your home to another country, that means you're flying back to your home, and things happen, complications arise. And like I said, you should really be within the same geographical zone of your surgeon for 6 weeks, because that's when most of the healing happens. If a complication is going to happen during that time, it's going to be during the first 6 weeks. So I don't want people thinking they got to fly to Malaysia if they're Asian, or fly to Thailand, or fly to South Africa, because that's inherently more risky than just getting it done at home. I do think the message is, though, find a surgeon who either looks like you or who you know has operated on people just like you, and whose results you've seen respect your ethnicity in a way, right? They're not out here creating button noses for every black, brown, white person they see. They're truly respecting your ethnic appearance and maintaining that, if that is your goal. Another thing to point out is that many people want to look more like they're ethnically ambiguous when it comes to features, right? So they don't want the strong nose of an African, right? And so that's also something that we have to keep in mind. But I understand where she's coming from for sure. Representation matters.
In like Turkey, you know, because over in Turkey they'll do more like Caucasian noses. I wanted an Asian doctor because an Asian doctor would do Asian faces day in and day out. I also remember having the biggest insecurity about this eye. I had something called ptosis, like a lazy eye. It's basically when the muscle, it doesn't work like how it used to. Basically, one mono eyelid and one double eyelid is actually quite common over in the Asian community, where the folded like how it should. Over in Asia, getting double eyelid surgery is like the norm out there. So I knew when I was going to Asia, like, I'm gonna do it all. While I was there and you knocked me out, I literally had like, I think 3 surgeries in one day. This is all documented on YouTube, by the way. I've always been that type of person that is open and honest and vulnerable.
So the question obviously, is it safe to do more than one surgery in one day? Is it safe to combine surgeries? Absolutely, yes. It is safe to combine. The question is, how many is too many? How long is too long? So just as a rough guideline, if your surgeon says it's going to take him 6 hours to do your breast and your tummy tuck, that can be done safely as an outpatient. If he starts quoting you things like 8, 9, 10 hours to do everything, then The question is, will I require an overnight stay in a hospital or with a 24/7 nurse who's going to be with me? There needs to be some kind of supervision when the surgery goes past 6 hours. The other thing to note is that for lipo especially, there are limits to what we can actually do as an outpatient. In certain states, the limit is 4 liters. In certain states in the US, the limit is 5 liters, meaning 5 liters of fat extraction from a person as an outpatient surgery. If you're going to have more than that done, which hopefully you shouldn't, you should be coming in at a reasonable weight. Really, you need to be discussing, where am I going to stay? Is it in a hospital, or is it in a facility where there's a 24-hour nurse present? Not available to call, but physically present, right? Because available to call means that person is at home and would have to drive in at a beck and call from you or whoever is with you. And then it might be too late, right? So you need to be able to discuss with your doctor, inpatient versus outpatient. If it's going to be a long day for them, it's going to be a longer day for you. So there needs to be appropriate post-operative care, especially in that first 24 hours when things can become very risky if not managed well.
I was 24 at the time. Me and my boyfriend Guang flew with me, even though he did not want me to do any surgery. He was actually very much against it. But at the end of the day, I feel like even if you don't agree with what I'm doing, I feel like it's really important to at least be there to support, you know. Guang's always been that type of person. Like, he will always ride or die for me, you know. We're in it till the end with each other. I remember watching back that video and looking at myself for the first time in the mirror, and I thought to myself, like, what have I done? I literally looked like I got run over by a bus. Being in the industry that I'm in as well, guys, when I tell you,
Yeah, the first few days of any surgery, you will feel like you've been attacked, and you will sometimes look that way too. Bruises, some bones will be broken and reset and things like that. That's totally normal. It's totally normal to be swollen like a Michelin man the first 24 hours and the first few weeks after surgery. And this is actually when depression can be at its highest, because people sometimes either don't expect all the swelling and bruising, or they just didn't mentally prepare for how it was going to be and feel. And pain is a big, big part of this feelings of sadness after surgery, right? It's important to know that it's normal, that you have a surgeon who's walking the road with you, and that you will get through this and get to the other side. It's just important to deal with it for that short period of time.
In the room with like the most beautiful people there are in this industry, okay? And these people ain't all natural, let me tell you. As much as they say, you know, oh,
my bum is like this naturally, or oh, these are my natural lips.
Obviously, I get to meet a lot of creators in real life, and you know, it's fair enough that they don't want to share everything and they want to keep things private. But me as a person, like, I've just always been that type of person that just wears my heart on my sleeve. What you see is what you get, okay? There ain't no like fluffing out in the streets. And even if you guys don't agree with my lifestyle or how I choose to live my life, how I choose to, you know, spend my money, or what I want to do to my face or my body, at least hopefully you can respect that I've always been open and transparent about it. I want bone like this. I had to go through some surgery tables to look like this, and I've definitely learned things along the way. This is what this whole series is about, you know, sharing my experiences over the years and looking back now, what I've learned and what I'll do differently, and what I would advise you guys if you was ever in the position where maybe you wanted to change your nose, or something is making you feel really insecure and not as confident, you know. A couple of months after having that surgery, I definitely felt like, okay, my eyelids are matching nowadays. My nose is cute, she got a little tip now. Definitely putting on my makeup now. I don't feel like I have to contour my nose. I don't have to make sure that I'm taking photos only from this side of my face. I would be so insecure. That sounds sad, but that was my fault back in the day. By the way, I'm actually doing the Turkish Delight makeup trend, which is actually very fitting because the next surgery that I had was actually in Turkey. I'm actually so glad that I documented those moments, because those were the times in my life when even I was looking for videos to be a little bit more clued up on what to expect for the healing journey. So I was like, I'm gonna be that girl that bears it all on the internet. Obviously, with the internet, it is such a hard place to be, right? Because there's times where
You get ridiculed. People say you're ugly. You look like this. You've got a big nose. You're fat. You're skinny. La la la.
But then on the other times, I definitely felt like after having the surgery or after doing my makeup a certain way, you also get this sense of validation. And I definitely feel like looking back, that is something that I was constantly chasing. Validation from other people, whether it be followers, whether it be boys. I don't know, it would just be from outside sources of validation rather than actually giving myself the validation.
Ooh.
Okay, now I want to talk more.
Oh, word. She's used the word validation a lot in reference to her growing up not with a lot of validation, and now for her seeking validation from others. But that was a word, right? It's internal validation. And yes, we all doubt ourselves. We all have insecurities. But when you have that internal validation to know, like, no matter what so-and-so says about me, I know who I am. I know what I've got. I know what I bring to the table. Sometimes I bring the whole damn table, the food, the cake, all of it, right? Right? But that internal validation, oh, it is so key. And maybe that's the difference, right? Is that I had some sense of like self when I was growing up in a similar situation where she didn't. It can't be that simple though, right? It has to be more complex, I think. So, but I think that's part of it, right? I've learned as I've gotten older that even when I was young, I've always been able to stand strong on something that I felt like I had and I brought with me. And I didn't need someone to tell me that is what I had. I appreciated it when they told me because that was reassuring and reaffirming, right? But it was internal.
About the emotional side of having all of this surgery and this filler stuff done, the most common question that I get asked all the time is, does it actually make you feel confident? I had to...
Yo, okay, can we talk about how she's doing her eyeliner? I would kill to be able to do that. I've literally watched a lot of videos. I'm not saying I spend my life watching makeup videos, because at some point it's just like, it is what it is, right? I'm just gonna be who I'm gonna be. But but that ability to do that eyeliner like that, ooh, girl, I'm making all these hand gestures because I am loving it.
Say to you, but I honestly think that it did. It made me feel confident in a way where I feel like I don't need makeup to feel good about myself. There was definitely a time where I would never leave the house without makeup. Just little things like that I don't have to worry about anymore. You know, after getting certain things that did make me feel insecure fixed, then yeah, it did boost my confidence.
So part of me is like, that's really sad that you need a plastic surgery to feel confident, but the other part of me knows that that's just real. And that's why my job is about giving life, right? It's not about, I'm not always saving lives. A lot of lives have been saved before people even get to me. It's about giving people a renewed sense of self, or a new sense of self when they didn't have one before. It's really tricky though. It's really tricky because I want y'all to come confident and be like, I just want a little tweak. But the real thing is that some of us don't come that way. And we feel like we need 6 surgeries to fix us, right? And my hope is that if that is you, if you need the 6, right? You have a plastic surgeon who cares about you. Not about what you're paying them, not about your quote, not about what procedure number you are in their day, but about you as a person, and really thinks about what is the best for you. I will say this too. I'm not this like big magnanimous surgeon who turns away everyone who's like, I want something done, and I'm like, no, love yourself first, right? I'm not like God's still working on me, right? So it's not that we as surgeons are always going to say, no, you need to go see the psychiatrist first. But there are cases when it's almost painfully clear that someone needs to address the internal stuff before they get the external stuff, right? There are cases when it's a fine line, and sometimes I will be like, you know what? I can help you. right? Ultimately, I hope that the part that I play in your life is significant and positive, right? And that I have a positive impact on you and everyone that I touch. That is my prayer daily. I don't know what I'm trying to say, because I think I've said a lot and I don't know that it had a point. But the point is that we are all human. We are all capable of faults. I too have probably seen a patient who's been like, naming a bunch of things that they need, or maybe I even named a bunch of things that I saw that I was like, maybe you think about this, right? Maybe you don't just want your eyes done because you want to look 20 years younger. Maybe you need the whole facelift and some fat and a brow lift, and it's just real out here, folks. Life is lifing for all of us. Real is reeling for all of us.
However, did it fix my insecurities? I think that's like a whole nother subject. Insecurities is a hard thing because we all have them. Even now, while I've had all my nose done and new boobies and, my booty's a little bit more perky, I definitely still have insecurities. And this is the problem that I definitely found myself being caught in, where you feel like...
Okay, bitch, I have a steady hand when it comes to surgery, right? Like, it's steady, right? But I cannot, for the life of me, imagine doing this and not fucking it up somehow. I'm gonna just be all the way real. Because excuse my cursing if you think that I'm using a little too many profanities, and I probably am. But the truth is, I can't do this. Okay. Jelly.
Oh, I just had a little something done to my lips, and instantly I feel like adrenaline boost when you feel more confident. And then you're like, that was kind of easy. And then you're like, oh, what else can I get done? This feeling of like you're chasing perfection almost, and you feel like you need to be hunting down for like, what else can you fix about yourself? And that is the problem. So in 2023, I feel like I went through my Saturn return. It was just as I was entering my 30s. I felt like I had like this mini breakdown, and I felt like I had so many questions about myself. Was I happy in my relationship? Was I happy with myself? Am I happy with how I'm leading my life? Everyone goes through this stage where you feel like this is not where I thought I would be, or you have these insecurities. Please comment down below if you have also felt the same thing, or maybe you might be going through this right now in your life where you're about to turn 30 and you feel this kind of like panic deep down inside. Okay, please let me know I'm not the only one. Okay, wait, I know this video isn't all about the makeup, but I kind of feel like I'm a movie star all of a sudden.
Yo, it looks good. I have so many eyeliners in all kinds of different colors, and I can only manage to break out the burgundy red and the brown to be able, because oh Lord help us all.
Okay, so during this time in my life, I felt like my life was falling apart. This was a time where me and Guang was in the worst place in our relationship. We almost broke up. Like, we had conversations about selling our house and, like how we're going to split our assets and all that kind of stuff, okay? If you don't know, I've been with my boyfriend Guang for 16 years. Like, this year will be our 17th anniversary. We've been together for a long time. We had to go through couples therapy. We had to go through solo therapy. And even though it was the worst time in our relationship, it also forced me to really look inwards and to really look at my life and how I'm living my life, if I'm even happy with the way that I am running things, because I felt like I was just chasing perfection. I was just chasing this version of myself that didn't even exist. When me and Guang went through this really rough stage in our relationship, I wasn't really posting online as much. I wasn't really sharing what I was going through. If I was online, it would be like this.
So that's interesting too, right? This idea that what we have online is kind of a persona that we make, right? And if you look at my Instagram right now, at least my personal one, it's like me on vacation, me at a party, me working out, things like that. So it's very much like always me happy. There are a couple points in my life where I was very, very down. And so seeing other people's happy moments shared on social media was really tough for me. And so it actually was in those years that I actually blocked a lot of social media from my life just to make it through. Because I was like, everyone else is happy. I'm the only one that's sad, in my room crying, watching Love Island like it's going out of style. Like, so yeah, social media is filtered. Like, we filter our lives and put it on there, and you decide what you put on there, right? And people think then that your life is perfect because you have decided what you're going to curate to put on your social media. It's really insane. And maybe now that's why, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that's why that people crying on video is so cathartic for them. No, I'm still out on that. Like, please, if you need to cry, don't pick up the camera and cry on the camera. Just cry. Just cry, and maybe block social media from your life for a little bit.
Fake version of myself where I felt like I had to put on a smile. Guys, it's the worst feeling when you're feeling so sad inside, but you have to, go to work and pretend that everything's okay, but literally 2 minutes later you're crying in the toilet. Like, honestly, it was a sad time in my life. But when there's a saying that when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up.
Amen.
No, don't cry, girl. I felt like during that time in my life, I needed to go through that to really realize what made me happy and what do I actually value in life. Oh God, guys, no, I can't cry. Hold it in, bitch. I felt like during this time in my life, I had to look inwards to see like, bitch, no, I'm not this actress. This video is not about this. This is meant to be an empowering video. I just remember feeling like all I wanted to do was just to be liked. It sounds so sad to say, but I felt like I needed to be liked online by getting more views when it boils down to it, just even liking myself. And that's why this series is so important to me, because as much as you've been following my journey online through, makeup tips and skincare tips, I actually really want to share this next part of journey about how to actually love yourself truly from within and truly find confidence. Not only just on the outside with the way that we look, we want to look good, we want to feel good, but how to actually feel confident without all of that stuff. All of this makeup tip that I'm sharing, it's just a bonus, If anything, it boils down to how do you truly feel about yourself. That is actually what I discovered through going through therapy, through going through rapid transformational therapy, to hiring a life coach and a business coach. I actually have done so much inner healing work that I really want to share with you. What have I learned after getting all of the surgeries and all of the fillers? I think the biggest thing that I've learned after coming through this 360.
Okay, I'm not gonna come for her. Like I said, it's real out here. But it's interesting to me that as she says that about doing the inner work and coming out of the other side and feeling like she needed to just love herself, she then put on these fake contacts that are clearly not her eye color. Again, I'm not coming for her. Please do not take it as that. It is a very real thing. Search, the exploration, the need for inner healing may never be finished. And that's not to say that putting in some fake brown contacts means she's not finished healing, but that is to say we all are a work in progress. And sometimes that means that we may look a little hypocritical and we may, to the outside world, look as though it's a mess going on inside. And it may be, and if it is, it is. I mean, life is real, right? But anyway, again, no shade. Just wanted to point that out.
Moment is that you will never find true confidence until you find self-acceptance. And I'm not sitting here preaching like
I'm a goody two shoes now and I'll never get a surgery again.
No, guys, if my titties are swinging to the floor.
Thank you for saying that. That was really helpful, because I thought the point of this video was to say, I'm cured now, guys. I got the surgery, so you don't have to. But no, she's just being real and saying, hey, like, I'm still the same girl who got the surgeries then. I may get a surgery again. The motivations are probably going to be a little bit different. The confidence with which I have in myself is going to be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I'm human just like everyone else, with insecurity just like everyone else. And if I have the means, I might get it again.
Or after I have a baby, I might go and have a full mummy makeover. I'm not saying that I'm never going to have anything ever done again. But I think, if anything, I've learned that having fillers and surgery shouldn't be what you think will make you happy. True confidence is learning how to feel confident as you are, how to actually look in the mirror and be like, I'm actually beautiful. Whereas before, I used to look in the mirror and just pick apart all of the things that I wanted to change about myself. I really, really had to hone down gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful for for being able to go through all of this to now looking at myself and actually feeling like happy. And not only like with the way that I look, there's still things that I'm not happy with, you know, but now it's finding that true acceptance and being really grateful for just being able to move my body, being able to be happy and healthy and not feeling like I need to pick myself apart in order to feel beautiful. Okay, I feel like we need to start a discussion down below in the comments. I want you to let me know if you've ever felt pressure from, you know, society or even pressures on social media to look a certain way, or feeling like you have to change yourself in order to be happy. Please tell me I am not the only one, okay? If you are going through that stage in your life where you feel like you constantly need to change yourself, or, you know, you're not happy with the way that you are right now, the one advice is that you do not need to change yourself in order to feel worthy. That was my problem before. I felt like I wasn't worthy of love, of acceptance, of, you know, people liking me, thinking that I'm pretty without all of this stuff. And it's only until I'd done that inner work where I actually worked on myself, like worked on making my mind a better person, finding other things that gives me this sense of confidence, this sense of like I have something to say, not just off of my looks. And that is through reading, that is through journaling, that is through therapy. That is something that's really like completely changed my mindset, where I don't feel like I need this in order to feel a certain way. If you enjoyed this video, I actually have filmed a whole video on my self-improvement journey and how I've kind of got to this place. But if you're interested in that video, I'll leave the link here, or you can check.
I love that video, and that actually brings me to a new venture. So, premiere April 18th. I am starting a live stream video here on YouTube, maybe on Instagram too, where I want to talk to real people who have had plastic surgery and talk about what their experiences are. The show is called Revealed, and it is not about bashing people, places, or things, but it's rather sharing your story in a safe environment, having someone like me to talk with it about, and maybe you can just vent, maybe we can share a laugh, maybe you can get some more advice, and hopefully we all learn a little bit something about how plastic surgery affects people's lives, both positively, negatively, and neutrally. So please, 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 if you're watching this now, like, subscribe, comment below, but also let me know if you want to join me for our very first episode of my live stream, Revealed, coming to you April 18th at a time TBD, because I still don't know yet, okay? But thank you guys for sticking with me up till now. Love you lots, and bye for now.